Lori Grimmick, the library director, and welcome to the Fun with Succulents program. You have already picked up your box of goodies, so you are everything came in a box. You're going to want to break that box down because we're going to use that to make our molds. You also you're going to have a shorter stick than this because I'm going to take them home and cut them tonight, but you'll have a stick for mixing up your cement. You're going to have a template for making your molds. You're going to have a disposable container with concrete in it. You will have a roll of tape. You will have some coffee stirrers to help you poke the cement around. You will have an X-Acto knife. Some of your things are going to look a little bit different than mine because I'm using what I have here. You're going to have a little container of tacky glue, and you will have some succulents. I'm also going to, I didn't bring it down, but you will have a sheet on how to take care of succulents. And you are going to want to have some sort of pen or pencil or marker. You will probably want a ruler. You're going to need some water, and you're going to need a measuring cup. So we'll start right in on this. First, you're going to want to cut out your templates, which I already did. They are on cardstock. So you are going to want to cut those out. This one did not fit entirely on the paper. This is how the template came. So we're just going to spin it around when we trace it on our cardboard. So I've already done the small template. You basically just lay it down and trace around it. This is the big one. I took the smaller box. You are going to have a larger box. So my template is not actually going to fit on my box. Hopefully yours will fit a little bit better. So what I would recommend if it doesn't fit exactly, or if you're making if you want to make so many of the planters that you need to like really utilize your cardboard, then I would recommend you're going to score and fold it on this line anyway. So if you line this line up with where you're going to fold it, then you will be all set. All right, so we are going to trace around. I'm going to do the full complete parts first. Now you're going to know that I'm not the greatest at tracing, but do your best. That's what this whole craft is about, because I don't know if you know this, but I have never worked with concrete before in my life. And maybe some of you have never worked with concrete before in your lives. But guess what? I have faith in us. I know that we are intelligent and crafty humans. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way up the sides, and then I'm going to turn this so that the full one is there. Put it inside the lines I already drew. Line the corners up. So now I have a complete template there. And then we're going to use our X-Acto knives or our box cutters to cut them out. I'm actually going to pause the video because nobody wants to watch me cut out cardboard. That's no fun. Ooh, there's one other thing that we do need to measure out. We are going to make little 3/8 of an inch strips of cardboard so that we can have drainage holes in our succulent containers. So I'm just going to use this part of the cardboard. I have my ruler. This is why you will probably want a ruler. I've already made one line at 3/8 of an inch. Ugh, I'm going to put on my Sharpie. So each of the little lines is a 1/16. So 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch is there. I'm going to make a couple of these. 1, 2, 3. I'll make one more. 1, 2, 3. And then I can just connect all of these, and I will have a 3/8 of an inch strip. That makes sense. I'm little to the one side of my lines, but all right. I'm gonna cut these out. I won't make you watch me. All right, I am back. I have cut out my templates. I scored this one, and I figured I would score this one on camera so that you could see. As you can tell, my X-Acto knife got a little bit janky, so if your X-Acto knife looks like this, you shouldn't use it. It's dangerous, but I don't feel like going up. So we're gonna score just along the edges here. There's a little dotted line on our template, so we know that we need to score it. So let me get rid of my chair, because now I'm gonna stand up. All right. So we want to go part way through the cardboard, but not all the way through, and we want to make a line from one corner to the other. So after scoring one of these slightly crookedly, I realized, oh, I have a ruler right here. I can use that. So we don't want to, like I said, we don't want to go all the way through the cardboard, so just gently draw your X-Acto knife across it. And then we're going to just fold those up. And that is our template. That's going to be our mold. Now we cut out our little 3/8 of an inch wide strip of cardboard, and we basically want to make these little triangles so we have drainage holes. So you can do this any way you want. I'm actually going to measure it a little bit. So I'm going to just hold it up against here, and I'm just going to score it. Everywhere I'm going to need to bend it. So I'm going to make 2 scores, and then I'm just going to cut this all the way through. I should have my, let me get my cardboard out here so I don't cut through anything important. So you have a relatively large cardboard box. And if you have another card, like, you can make as many of these as you want, as many of the planters as you want. The more you have, the more fun you can have with rearranging them in different shapes. They're triangular, they're modular triangles. So you can arrange that, you can put them all, you can stack them up, you can make a little octagon out of them, you can make whatever you want out of them. So you can also use just like a heavy cardstock if you want to make the molds. So I'm also going to score these in about the same place. Bam, I have my 3 triangles. All right. So let me get rid of my X-Acto knife and my template and my ruler. I'm gonna get rid of everything. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we wanna fold these into triangles, and basically we wanna put 1 in each corner, and we're gonna glue it down on the larger of our 2 mold pieces. So, I'll be precise. So we want to be about all right. Measuring is too hard. All right, so I'm just going to tape these together, because basically we just want to hold, we want them to hold together enough so that, you know, it makes a little drainage hole. And basically we're trying to keep cement out of this little spot, so it's okay if I cover up the top with tape. All right, so I have my little triangles. You can tape them, or you can glue them, and this is what your glue is for. We're gonna glue these down into the corners of my triangle. we're gonna eyeball it here. I might come to regret this decision to eyeball it, but we'll see. All right, so just pop that in there with some glue. We're gonna wait for that to dry. I'm just making this video, so mine might actually not be dry. You are at home and you have you can take all the time that you need. So if I were you, I'd wait for that to dry. But like I say, for the purposes of this video, I will probably not wait for it to dry. All right, let's get some glue on there. Eyeball it, stick that down. And then I'm gonna make one more triangle. And a little piece of tape. Now, one thing that I grabbed while I was cutting out all of my cardboard was I grabbed a paper cup. Just in case it's difficult to get our concrete in between the two walls of our mold. Then that, we can bend a little like spout into it. All right. All right, I've got my 3 things there. So we are just going to move that there. Let's just double check. Let's look at here. Oh, yep, that's perfect. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So what we do basically want these to sit, we want the inner walls of our mold to sit on top of these, because then what's going to happen is we're going to pour concrete in between there, and so it's going to build a wall, and those drainage holes will be on the inside of our wall. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to fold these up, and we're going to tape them shut. Now you have a whole roll of tape, so I would say be generous. I don't want cement to go leaking all over the place. I'm trying not to take too long, so yeah. I would put more tape on it than I am using. All right, I'm going to pause while I tape this up so that you don't have to watch me do that. All right, so I've put together my molds. I have used tape. Like I say, I would use a generous amount of tape to try to avoid any leaks. I have this one, which has my little triangles in the bottom. And then I made a giant version of my little triangle, just so I can sort of illustrate what we're doing with this. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna mix up our concrete, and then we're going to fill the bottom of the larger mold. And we wanna fill it just up to the top edge of our triangles. Then that will give us a base for our planter. And then if we go over and concrete spills into these, then we don't have drainage holes. So we just want to go right up to the edge. So we want to fill up the entire bottom of this up to the edge of our cardboard triangles. Then what we're going to do is we're going to set this in on top as evenly as we can. We're going to put this inner mold in, and then we're going to fill up these channels with the concrete. That's what your little coffee stirrers are for, squishing the concrete down in there and spreading it around in the bottom there. This is quick dry concrete. I never know how quick they mean by quick dry. I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna have plenty of time to maneuver it, but worst case scenario, we're gonna be quick. All right, so what you have is you have approximately a pound of concrete, which is about 4 cups. And what we wanna do is we wanna take out the larger, concrete has rocks in it and stones. So we wanna take out, sort of like sift out like the bigger stones. We wanna leave some chunks in there for strength. I'm just gonna put those there. They recommend using, like those cheap plastic containers that you get in a nursery with a plant. They have those little drainage holes in the bottom. Because those little drainage holes are just about the right size, so that it will keep the rocks that are too big will stay inside the pot, and then the rocks that are small enough will just pop right on through. I don't know if I mentioned, if you're doing this inside like I am, as you can see, I have put down a plastic tablecloth so that if I spill concrete on the table, I won't have ruined one of the library's tables. I'm also wearing my grubby shirt. You probably can't see my shirt very much, but I put on one of the grubby shirts that I wear when I'm mowing the lawn or slathering my baby with Vaseline. All right, so like I say, you can do that, you can take out the bigger pieces of rock by hand like I'm doing. You can use a nursery pot with the drainage holes and just sort of sift it back into this container. We're gonna mix up the concrete in this container because it is disposable. And I'm guessing you don't wanna ruin one of your own bowls or buckets or whatever you have around your house. So, all right. Basically, we just, you do want to leave some of the rocks in for strength, but basically we just want them to be small enough so that they will fit in the in the walls of our mold. All right. My husband's family has a saying where they always say, "Good enough for who it's for." So, which is actually kind of mean, but it's sometimes comforting. So I'm going to say this is good enough for who it's for. You're going to want to do a good job at this, but I'm just making a sample here, so I don't have to have like every single rock taken out. Okay, so what we're going to use is approximately a cup of water. Maybe slightly less. You might, if you want, you can start out with a little bit less and then add more if you need it. So we're gonna put a little less than a cup. We're gonna pour that in. And then I'm gonna use my giant stick to stir it up. If you have something better than the stick I have provided you with, please feel free to use it. I will not be offended. I was just trying to find something that wasn't expensive and that wouldn't make us sad if we had to throw it away immediately after. All right. You know what? I might put, first of all, I'm going to put a little bit more water in because I want it to be a little bit thinner. Well, first of all, we're not even getting all the dry bits. Let's mix all the dry bits in, but yeah, I think I'm going to need a little bit more water because I want it to be just a little looser than this. You don't want to really put in much more than 1 cup because then you'd be maxing out the moisture levels that are recommended on the bag. But I'm just going to put in just a teensy weens more. That's even too much, I think. Just a tiny bit more. Stir that in. Now that I'm doing this, I think I might also give you some rubber gloves. Just because as I think about getting the cement on my hands, I'm like, ooh. So I'm gonna give you some rubber gloves. And if you see me at the library and I have cement coated fingers, you can say to me, Corey, you should have stopped the video and got some gloves for yourself. Okay. I'm gonna use my scooper. Since you have rubber gloves, plastic gloves, you can use your hands. I'm gonna use my stick, I'm gonna pour some in there. All right, so hopefully you can see this. So I'm pouring it in there, and then I'm just sort of scooching it all around my, okay, I'm gonna use my hands. We'll see if I live to regret this choice. So we're just gonna scooch it all around our cardboard triangles. I might have too much in here now. Okay, I don't wanna get that on top of my, so you don't wanna cover your cardboard triangles. You just wanna get right up to the edge. But you do, oops, I'm not showing you very well. I was focused, man. I was focused on it. So you do wanna make sure that you actually have concrete all across the bottom, otherwise you're gonna have a big old hole. But you know, I mean, I guess we're leaving drainage holes, so. But you do want it to actually hold the dirt. I am gonna tip it towards myself for a moment, so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna dump a tiny bit of this out. Shoop, 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 shoop. So it's getting a little high. All right, so. Make sure that it is all in there. I'm sorry, this is probably boring to watch, but I'm just trying to get it all situated in there. And I am going to use my hands to just sort of pack it down. Just because I want to make sure that it's, you know, you might be better at pouring it than I am, or you might be better at with your popsicle stick. Okay, I do need a tiny bit more. And I made it a little too low. And the wonderful thing is that this is going to be on the inside of your planter. So if it's a little janky looking, it's not too terrible. Okay, so if you can see in there, I'm going to hold it up a little closer. If you can see in there, there's a layer of concrete up to the edges of my 3 triangles, but not covering them up. Now, I'm gonna put my other, you know what, I'm gonna put it in this way. So that I don't just fill up the inside with concrete accidentally. All right, so now I have put my the inside part of my mold in here. I want to get it as even as I can so that these walls are, you know, roughly the same thickness. I've never been good at eyeballing things like that. All right, so now it just becomes a matter of squishing our concrete in there. And this is where you don't want to have any like really big rocks. Boo, boo, boo. I am rather making a mess, but you get the idea. So I am just gonna I'm just gonna keep stuffing it in there. I'm gonna do it on all 3 sides. You wanna pack it in relatively well because you don't, again, you are gonna be able to see this. Like, you know, this part is gonna be the outside that everyone's gonna see. So you don't wanna have any giant holes there where your dirt and everything is gonna fly out and everyone's gonna be like, why'd you leave a big old hole in your planter? Oh my goodness, I just flipped one of those popsicle sticks. So, like I say, you can use these sticks to, you know, really jam it down in there, help guide it. But it's actually getting in there pretty good. Yeah, so we're just gonna keep doing that. And until they are, all right. Now, if you are worried about your concrete getting too dry, or if you only have time, like you want to make 6 of these, but you only have time to make, 3 or whatever at a time, you can always just make half. You can use half of the concrete. Oops, you know what I think I'm doing? Look what I did. Okay, here's a warning to you. I put in so much concrete that I have sort of made these walls a little narrower. So you're gonna want to watch that you don't do that. As I used to be a youth librarian and work with the children, and I always used to tell them, you know what, I'm gonna make mistakes. And my crafts are, like, I'm not the best singer or the best craft maker. I'm just gonna pull that out. Anyway, I used to tell them, I'm not the best at everything. I make mistakes and I do things wrong, and sometimes I'm just not good at some things. But all you have to do is just be a little bit better than me. You gotta learn from my mistakes. All right, so I think that the key here is to not focus on one wall like I just did, but to sort of work on all 3 walls at the same time. Sort of get all of them started and then sort of pack it in there. This is pretty quick drying. Like, I feel like towards the edges, some of this is getting a little crusty. So I don't know if I finished saying it. I might have gotten distracted by my own mistake, but you can just you can only use half your concrete at a time, or a quarter. Just use, like if you're mixing up half your concrete, then just use half a cup of water. And if you are mixing up a quarter of it, then just use a quarter cup of water. Yeah, so I think that it's gonna work better if you partially fill each of the sides and then work on packing it in and making sure that it's all tight. Then you will have more even walls, and you will not end up with one big thick wall and 2 skinny little breakable walls. Okay, so there we go. I'm just gonna pack in a little bit more. I think you get the idea. Yours, I'm sure, like I said, will look better than mine, and will probably be more even. I always have a crooked eye. That's why I'm not allowed to hang up pictures at home, because I always make everything all crooked. Yeah, I should probably try to get this concrete off my fingers. So like I say, you have enough cardboard, you have enough concrete to make multiples of these. They are going to cure. You're gonna have a large plastic bag that you can put them in to cure. I will print out the instructions so that you can sort of go over these instructions again, and you can those will have the curing instructions. I think it's 3 days, and I think you put a wet paper towel in there with it. I don't know, there's something about wetting it, and you cure it for 3 days, and then basically you'll just bust off the cardboard, get that out, and you will have a delightful planter. Then you'll have some succulent dirt, you'll have some special soil, and then you can plant your little succulents in there. And then you can hang these on the wall if you want, because it's going to have that, you can use one of the drainage holes and hang that on a nail on your wall. So you can hang these on your wall and have them be like sideways. Or you can put them out, you can use them separately, you can put them all together. And those are your succulent planters. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. I hope that you have fun with this. I hope that you were brave with me and you just jumped feet first into this concrete craft. I think we might be a little bit loopy even attempting this, but like I say, I have faith in us. So please feel free to send me photos. You can send photos or videos on our Facebook page. Someone did send me a photo of our Books to Boxes craft, which made me super happy. But feel free to send me photos or tell me how it went. My email is cgrimminck@portlandmilibrary.com. I would love to see how your planters turned out. So thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that you had a good time.